right, boom, we're live. We're gonna give a couple
We're
minutes.
live.
We're live. We're gonna give a couple minutes for these wild animals to pop in, and we're gonna share the link. So let me ship you
Oh,
the
it's
link.
oh, so it's just this is live, so people just
This
jump
is
in and
live.
watch now.
Oh yeah,
So we're happy to
yeah.
get like 15 live viewers, and then you repost it later.
We might. I mean, we might get more. Like I got some wild animals that come in and watch me. I'm gonna text you the link and I'll email it too. And I'll put it off the front when it goes on to Live of the Bike. Live YouTube.
Oh, it's a live YouTube.
Boom. All right. I'm sending out and I'm gonna tweet it.
It's live. It's alive.
It's alive. You're alive. Top 3 WPT finisher. Ronnie Bardah.
Why is it not? I'm trying to copy that link you just sent me, but it's bugging out.
Well, I just shipped it on Twitter, so I think my tweet was sense. All right, let's see if anyone's popped in. What's up, Nathan Kluster? See, we got a wild animal already. Nathan, do you know who Ronnie Bardah is? The handsome man on the left. He's not saying anything, but boom anyway. All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
You recently were at WPT. It was Florida, right? Florida?
Yeah, I was recently down in Florida. You know, and just was that actually was in Aruba prior to that for a tournament I helped put together called TAPS, the Aruba Poker Series. It was a $600 buy-in. You know, it was tough to marketing and putting that tournament out there during these times because you don't want to try to push anybody to travel during COVID. But basically, the way I just put it was like, if anybody is traveling during these times or are comfortable traveling, there is going to be a $600 tournament in Aruba with a small series, a little small, like $200 post prelims and $300 and the 600 main. But I mean, they had strict guidelines coming in, and they had like curfews. You had to get a COVID test prior to going into Aruba, which was no longer than 3 days old. So I mean, we ran a really safe, fun tournament. All the activities are outdoors. They had real glass, not like plexiglass, like real, looked like bulletproof glass on the tables. It was insane. Sanitize, the whole thing. So it ran smooth, and I spent 2 weeks out there. Just got refreshed. Was on the beach every day, and then I was like, oh, Florida, there's some tournaments going on. So I just planned to only play the 600 actually in Florida because I was kind of burnt out. I needed to get back on to Vegas. Because at that point, staying in Florida for a week, I had my flight booked right after, like that following Monday after the 600 was over, and I decided to extend my flight. I was like, you know what, I'll play a couple satellites for the main, see if I can get in.
And then you got in, right?
Yeah, the thing is, like, it took me 3 tries. A $400 there was like $400 multi-table satellites, and I just wasn't in the mood if I didn't win a seat to sell.
I know.
To like sell action and mark up and like call a few people. Like as I can just be like, hey, you want to buy 20? I could sell it all, sell whatever I need to sell. But I just wasn't motivated to do so. So if I was like, if I don't want a seat, I'm just gonna fly back to Vegas. And I ended up winning a seat in my 3rd try in a $400 turbo. So I got it for $1,200. I bubbled a daily one that day. They had like a daily 25 seat guarantee. I finished like, they didn't bubble, but soft bubble, like 38 or something like that. Well, I lost a huge flip for a seat, basically, and took a couple hours off and came in for the 8 o'clock turbo and won my seat in that. They gave away 7 seats. Satellites are great, for our one viewer who's watching now.
We have 8.
Oh,
Nathan,
nice. For our 8
what's
viewers.
up, Ryan Palikas? Hey, Ryan, get Ronnie Bardah in the mix. This Ronnie Bardah, Nathan. Ronnie Bardah is in one of the most watched. It's either top number 1 or number 2 most watched poker video of all time. His number 1.
Yeah, Joseph Chong's video with
shout out to Joseph.
Filippo Candido is probably number 1.
Yeah, can't beat that. Even
that
Ronnie,
guy. And funny to say, that guy busted me an hour prior to that video in that same tournament. I busted 24th to Filippo, and I had to deal with all that too. But it wasn't as crazy, obviously. He was cool with me.
Flip mode. Yeah, I mean, but like it's no small feat to beat out like Miss Finland,
Yeah, she's He's a beaut.
So, okay, so a little bit of background. Both you and I have almost hit 20 years as poker pros, and my career has trended. I mean, we see each other's side. I trend more towards like what you were doing because I remember there were some high stakes games you would be clearly a favorite and you would just like pass them up and just like stick to the high mid stakes. And like I feel myself doing the same thing nowadays. Like it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think I give that advice to a lot of people, and they ask me, can you give me some advice becoming a poker pro or pros that are already playing that are in their 20s? And I'm like, look, if you have some security and you have some, if you have a good base, a good foundation, a family, and you have this, take more shots is what I'm trying to say. Like, I wish I took a few more shots in my 20s when I had like, 80K roll and there was like a big game going, just take 15K and buy in. But I was just always like kind of not scared, but I was just always conservative, and I wanted the steady growth. I'm like your IRA. I'm like your Vanguard,
Ronnie,
like retirement stock.
Ronnie, you know how many of our people are not around anymore, and we're still around. So you and I did something right.
Well, yeah, and I mean, a lot of those people just couldn't make it, but a lot of those people just didn't want to play poker anymore and just didn't like the lifestyle, or just couldn't hack it, or just it wasn't for them. So I think the majority of people who are out are because they made some bad decisions. They played too big. They weren't winning players. They just the lifestyle caught up to them. Life leaks. They didn't know how to stop betting sports, stop staying up all late nights, stop playing time. There's just a number of things we can talk about.
Women problems.
Women problems, of course. Being in bad relationships. Drinking way too much, partying way too much. There's a lot of different aspects of becoming a professional poker player. And like I said before, on many different interviews and conversations, that becoming a pro, most of it is like off the table. Like, obviously being good and being able to win is the biggest part, but I would say 50% of it is like everything else.
I think the other stuff's more important because like if you're gonna find out really quickly whether you have the technical skill to play. Like, it's really like, I tell this to people I coach when they're like, oh, Garrett, Andy, like, I'm just like, a lot of people, like, while they're very good and they have really deep playbooks, and I'm not even gonna compare like, myself to them, especially in 2021, like, it's like a lot of players are very talented, and it's how they carry themselves, like, away from the table, or their life habits or their responsibility is why they're still around. And Andy was public about going broke a couple times, maybe like 2 or 3 times, like Garrett once, me once, and it's just like, it's a humbling experience where just like you just cut your arregance. You've never gone broke, or was it one?
Never gone broke.
See, there you go.
One of the very few who's never gone broke. But like they say, if you want to make $1 million, you have to go broke. I don't necessarily think that's true, but the ones who the ones who go broke, like, take more shots, and they're just. But like people don't know Garrett and Andy's story. They grinded. They were like doing their thing. It was a steady pace for them. Then they got where they got. They got where they are. I should say. I'm sorry, because of their road to where they what they become now. And like it's not something that just happens overnight.
Yeah, no, that's what a lot of kids think. They just like, oh my gosh, I just get really good, and in 1 year I'm playing on like it's like the technical skill is attainable, but it's not like unless you come from like a lot of money, you can't really get there. Like, if you want to get there legitimately, it takes a really long time.
Yeah, like this kid Landon Tice right now. We've been DMing a little. Yeah. He's a good kid. Yeah. You had him on.
I don't
know. He's a nice kid, and he's. I mean, a lot of people are, a lot of older pros, and some people are being rubbed the wrong way by the way he's presenting himself, trying to get involved in everything.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, he's all over the place. He's taking up everybody's. Even if you don't follow him, you're following him, right? I'm sure. He's a good. He's good. Yeah, he's trying his best, and he just wants to be in every single everywhere. He just wants to be. He's 21. I mean, like, he's a young kid, and that he didn't go overnight. I mean, he's been playing for a few years, and he just turned 21, got on the live scene, and he wants to he wants to put his name out there. He wants to become poker famous. He wants to play the biggest games. He wants to make the most money, and good for him.
Like,
I met him in Florida for the first time.
he
Nice kid.
loves it. Like he loves it. Him and his one of his, I think it's his best friend. I don't want to misquote. So one of his best friend Harbs. I had them both on the podcast too, and I wanted them on because, you know, like I could, even not knowing them or not meeting them, I could feel it, you know, through the internet. Like these are young kids. These are passionate kids. They're good guys. They're Joe Ingram, aka Chicago Joey mods, along with myself. Just like, you know how it is when life is gonna beat you down. So while kids are young and have the heart and passion, like us older people can, like, you know, give them a little bit, like a couple droplets of like, hey, look, life's gonna beat you down, but we're still here, you know.
Yeah.
These guys that are just like, you know, pouncing on them, it's like maybe it's them against themselves. Maybe, you know, it is true. Landon hasn't earned his stripes. Like what year is he in? Like 2, 3, 4?
Year one.
Year one.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe year one as a live pro, and maybe year 3, 4 as a poker player, or when he started taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess a lot of people are just like, yeah, he hasn't, you know,
earned his
so
stripes.
it's yeah, people who just fall out of the sky, and it's just, you have to question yourself, why does it make you feel a certain way? Like the kid Jeff Platt, you know, I never knew him, I never met him. He just fell out of the sky. He was a San Antonio Spurs like commentator, I guess, or worked with the Spurs, and then he just immersed himself in poker, and he's just all over my Twitter. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, I'm like, why am I having these feelings? And then I played with the kid the other day, and he's just like really cool, man. He's got great mannerisms at the poker table. He's act like he's been there before. He's really professional, really nice kid. And I really like him. But you know, everybody has that, not hate in their blood, but just a little. It's like the whole Doug Polk thing with Johnny Vibes, you know.
Well,
and
we're older now, so there's some stuff that we experienced when we were younger, and then when we get older, we kind of choose who we have to choose the grown-ups that we want to be, because you know, we've known each other for at least 15 years. We have so many mutual friends. Like the people we were coming up, we're like the same, but we're not the same, right? Like we're still the same people, but like we're wiser, we're more weathered. You know,
more weathered for sure.
Some things, like, you know, I watched and admired your style, like doing things like back in the day, and I just start, like, you know, especially after going broke, like I accommodated like a lot of good qualities. When I watch like Garrett and Andy, Dan, Zach operate, I'm like, oh man, I didn't do those like certain good qualities, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to beat myself or be too low on myself, because I obviously did a lot of things right, but like there's like just like in poker, when you look across the table and you see another person, you don't know like all the good qualities they have, and we are all blind to all of our bad qualities. So when you're able to observe, like, you know, when I watch like you guys, I'm just like, oh, that's a good quality. I can't be you, but I could try to do as much as I can to, you know, do that good quality. And I think Landon, I'm sure everybody can acknowledge he's just sun running, because you can't just like bing, bing, bing. So he works really hard. I'm sure he's really good, but like I think that's the issue. Is like, when I had you know, Blake, you on the podcast, he's obviously a very good player. Known him, he's 10 plus, maybe 15 years, but he's run like on the bottom like X%, and we know how it is. Like, especially in big bet games, you lose those big pots, or you lose, you know, flips or key hands and MTTs. The result, like, if it just goes a different way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Landon, like, you know, for him trying to get like a match versus Bill Perkins, and agreeing for these, a lot of poker players are like, how is he agreeing to giving him 9 big blinds per hour, which is 3,200 over the course of 100 every 100 hand, not per hour. I'm sorry, 9 big blinds per 100 hands.
Yeah.
And they're playing 20,000. That's $720,000 is the math, right? At 200, 400 heads up. I mean, that's just like crazy. It's like he's just giving up a 720K head start and agree to play 20,000 hands. And I mean, I don't know. It's like, is he doing it for attention to get out there? He's just taking those. He's just agreeing for that, just to play him. It's just like, this is a really bad decision, or can he really win? I'm not a heads-up player.
If anybody want to take Bill Perkins' side, I know somebody who, you know, probably some people, but I'll ship you a reliable contact if anybody wants to take Bill Perkins' side. You know,
so there's people willing to bet on Landon even with the 720 he's giving him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you or anybody, I have very.
I'm not betting against Landon.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Landon, and I don't want to bet either side. Like, even Doug Polk versus Negreanu, like, come on, we knew Doug was going to be a massive favorite. I just don't want to.
Yeah, it was just laying 5.5 to 1 or whatever it was, but
yeah,
or 5. So But yeah, what a day to be alive, with all this stuff going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's another thing too is like, last time we had a podcast, I didn't know you had such like humble beginnings. Like, you definitely, had some rough times earlier, and then you just broke out because of your strong spirit and good heart, and that's something that I think, while Landon shot up like pretty early in his career, we kind of see that in him, and we know like, hey, you might want to slow down because there's some bad stuff ahead, but like, we do like to see people with
Yeah,
ambition.
we like to see that. We like to see that passion.
Yeah,
I like to see that passion. I like to see that motivation. I like to see more young people get involved and continue to grow the game. And we just, it's just a circle of life. There's going to be new people coming into the game and people leaving, and it is what it is. So, not everybody has to be fully. Not everybody has to be on the wagon of like, oh, we love you, good luck. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, fuck this kid. He comes out of nowhere. Why does he want all this attention? It's whatever. It is what it is.
yeah. Like, nobody's universally liked, and I think,
No.
some people accept that at an earlier age, and just like I've accepted it. Like, I think I did mention it like in the last half year or a year. Like, I heard of people throwing shade at me. I'm like, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna need haters. If people are hating on you, they're coming at you. It's a good thing. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
mean, you're gonna
It's all
like
right.
when you. I mean, it's the poker world. Like, we're veterans. Being responsible is like first and foremost. Like, standing test time, not burdening other people, and just like when we get older, we have to protect ourselves, and we can choose who we give our time and talk to before.
Yeah. The older we get,
Right.
the more you value time, and the smaller your circle seems to get.
I think it's different.
You're
Yeah, I think it's different. Like, like your inner circle may get smaller because, like, some conflicts I had with, people I know, it's nobody's fault, or sometimes it's both people's fault, and it just kind of, it is what it is, and like, it's there's got to be some like Tupac or Biggie stuff, like, I ain't mad at you, something like that, just like,
Yeah, I hear you.
or just, how come by D12 and Eminem. This.
I have like this thing I go by is like I stay loyal to friends who've been there for a number amount of years. There's always like family. You can't just like you just no matter what path they take or no matter what's going on in their life, you've been there since day one. You have this like I'm a very loyal person, so you have this connection toward them. And no matter what we all go through, I seem like I not that I own them or anything, but I just not gonna no matter what, like even if they're toxic or you feel like they can be too down and they're not helping you grow and they're not helping you in the direction you want to go in. I'll still put time away for that person because I love them unconditionally and I want to make sure they're okay. And my heart is with them. So then there's people you meet these days and you're like, I don't want to be around that person. I'm not really close to that person, so I can just cut that person out of my life. So goes both ways.
Yeah, something I haven't throwing people I know under the bus, and this so to say, because like I'm owed quite a bit, and when I went broke, I had got into a little trouble. It took a lot. I was really angry when I wasn't gonna get paid back, and it took like a while to accept that I'm most likely not gonna get paid back by these people, and just like, um, I had good times with them. These are guys I've known for like 10 plus years, and I'm just like, I'm letting go of like, okay, if I never see a cent, I'm just like, you know what, we had good times. I'm not obviously not happy about the situation, but just like,
But that just sucks, man. That just sucks. People not paying you back, and if they have money, you see them doing things on social media, or you see them in a game, and they always have excuses about they're getting back, or they're out of the poker world and they're back doing something else, and they're getting a job, and you're not a priority for them, and like, I don't get those personalities, and you say you had good times with them, and they were fun, and you had some good memories, but at the end of the day, you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't this person
it's tough because
it's just really tough to pill to swallow, and I don't respect it. I don't get it, and it just sucks. Like I don't know how they live.
no,
And they
it's
go
not
through their
good.
life.
I'm not saying it's like a good thing at all. It's just like,
No, I've been through it. I know I've been through it.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I've made mistakes before. I'm like, there's some damage that I still need to repair, that like, it just like, and I get it, like, one of the people was like, he's got a kid now. I'm just like, okay, morally, what are you supposed to do? Like, it's just there's the practical side and there's the moral side where it's just like, all right, it's just not happening. But it's more just like, it's a learning lesson. Life's getting tougher. In this day and age, I feel sorry for like the kids, like 10 years younger, 20 years younger than us. Like, they got a real uphill battle, like with the cost of living. And,
For sure.
And just standards getting higher and higher. So, yeah, I mean,
trying to find your. I'm trying to find your.
tweet?
Did you tweet this? Did you
I
tweet
tweeted
it out?
it. Yeah, I tweeted it in mine. I could ship it to you. But yeah, your WPT. What happened? Like you obviously ran hot.
What? Yeah. What did? Let me. I'm just trying to tweet out your. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to retweet this.
There we go.
Yeah. What happened was, I bagged 200K on day one. I had a really crazy hand on day one because I was an alternate and I had to wait a few hours. So I get in like with 30K. I think you have 40K. Yeah, I get in with 40K at like 400 or 500 BB. It's like still a lot of chips. I got like 80 big blinds or 80 to 100 big blinds. And I play some pots and I don't get off to a good start. I get down to like 31, anywhere from 29 to 31 was my stack size. And I remember this kid in the cutoff who's been, I have him covered. He has like 27,000. He has been pretty active and he opens my big blind at, I think 500 big blind now or 600. Let's say he opened to like 1,200. I call with 3-4 of clubs in the big blind. I decide to defend 3-4 suited. And it comes ace of clubs, 6 of spades, 9 of clubs. Okay, I check call 12 for 1,300 on the flop. Turn was a 3 of diamonds. So I turn a pair and a flush draw and I check and he bet like 4,000, leaving himself like 19K or 20K back. And I just didn't think, in my head, I'm like, all right, sometimes here he just has like some air and he's just trying to get through. Very rarely. Sometimes here he has one pair of hands, like ace, queen, ace, king. Sometimes here he has sets and 2 pairs. And sometimes he has hands like the king, queen of clubs or the queen X of clubs, and I'm just ahead now turning a pair. And sometimes you just want to shove all in here because calling and
like
getting there,
up,
or
yeah.
it's just a huge bet, and it's just 4K. In his stack size, I just went with my gut, and I decided to shove. So I went all in, and at the beginning of the hand, they had him covered by like 5 or 6K or whatever, and he snapped, and he's got top and bottom, flop top and bottom, ace-6.
And so you got 11 outs.
Yeah, usually like
actually,
when that happened,
your club, you might have less outs, right? Depending which clubs are on the board.
Yeah, he had the ace of clubs are on the board, so.
Oh, ace and 6 are both clubs, right? Or ace of clubs. Okay,
ace,
so you have
ace 9,
outs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he how sometimes when that happens and he just snaps, you have a little time to process and see his hand, and like the dealer sits there, looks at the chips, and then puts the burn and then burns and rivers. No, it wasn't like that. It was like all in call. Dealer just looked at us, just like burn, boom. I was like, oh, it was so fast, and the queen of clubs hit the river, and I'm like, oh, I won. Oh,
we are the champions, my friend.
And he just gave me this disgusting face. Now, obviously, to get down to 3 players out of 1,600 players, you got to get lucky here and there. But I promise you, that was the only hand until we chopped that I got extremely lucky. That I made a play for my life, for basically my life. I would have 5K. I would have 10 big blinds if I lost a pot, and got lucky and was able to then just go on this upward. I never was short. I was like the chip leader, one of the chip leaders from bagging on day one. I was like probably top 50 in chips on day one. Going into day 2, bagging on day 2, like top 3 stacks, and then having the chip lead, being the top 3 chip leaders all the way to the final table. And then final table I was 4 or 7, and then getting chip lead at the final table after getting coolered. But throughout the tournament, man, I just was I had over 100 big blinds most of the time. I was fortunate not to be in any unlucky situation, which is lucky. I didn't get coolered as much.
Yeah.
I had one hand where a kid was supposed to get dealt aces, and he got dealt ace king. The dealer threw an ace up, and I got dealt fours in the big blind, and the kid opened my blind. I defended, and it came 4-5-5, and he had ace king high, and I just check raise flop, and he called. Turn brought the 8 of diamonds, which brought 2 diamonds. So 6-7 gets there, which I didn't like because he thought I could have that hand, and he would fold a lot of hands, but I still bet the turn. He called, and the river was an ace, and I basically bet enough to put him all in, and he tanked, and he showed like the player his right, the ace, saying like, would have had aces, what the fuck, and he's tanking there with ace king. So he called 2 bets with ace king. I think he had the king of diamonds on the turn or whatever.
He wouldn't have aces though. He's exaggerating because the king would have been in the mix. So the river wasn't.
Well, the king was a card that replaced his first ace. He's saying.
I know, but the ace does the ace become the burn? The dead ace.
Yeah, the ace became the burn.
Oh, so he would have.
It's the same flop, Wayne. Yeah, you know how that works. The card that got exposed is the burn card now.
Right.
So he's saying he had aces. He could have. He's saying that king replaced the ace, which I believe him. The river was the ace of diamonds, which brought 3 diamonds run out, and he just thought, maybe I was barreling up, and he just ended up folding. I made a big mistake not betting less. But he messaged me later and asked me what I had. And I told him, he's like, I would have had aces. So I had him covered that hand, but I would have took a big blow to my stack. And I just got a lot of gifts throughout the tournament. I got a lot of people just, like I 3-bet this kid with 6-5 suited, and he had jacks, and he played this, and he just flatted, and it came 9-6-5. And he played this huge pot, and turn was a 6, and he check raised me all in the turn. And I'm like,
if you got 9s,
call.
you got 9s.
And I just he had a huge stack, and I just stacked them, and I was a chip lead at that point. Yeah, I was like, you get 9s, exactly. And from there on, I lost a huge pot down to third. The kid who took second, Robel, a nice kid from Eritrea. He's right next to Ethiopia in Africa. He's a Maryland Live 510 Olympic player. Had like 30K in earnings. Played pretty well. Made some tourney mistakes. He jammed 21 big blinds at 40K on the button. Just jammed 21 big blinds. So I had 840K. I had like 2 million or 2.1 million, and I called with ace jack because I knew he would open the better hand. He didn't want to get owned and get 3-bet by me or the big blind, and I seen all that going through his head. And he just jammed 21 big blinds. He didn't want a decision. And I made the call. He had ace-8 off. And it came jack 9-7, turn ace, river 10. That was a huge hand.
Yeah.
And the 10 river, all he had was a 10 river. And he got up. He was like, let's fucking go. And then he sat back down and he apologized to me. And I'm like, dude, it's a huge spot. You're playing for a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. And he ended up getting down to 4 or 5 handed. I had him all in again with ace-9 to his 8s for his last 10 bigs. And he 8s held. He had an 8 in the river for no reason. I turned a gutter. The board was like 10, 3, 4 deuce on the turn, and I had an ace-9 or a 5. Some wheel gutter. It could have been 3 or 4, whatever. I had 10 outs, and he just hits an 8. I'm like, you didn't need that, but he won that hand, and the night before that, I was really, really tired, and I mistakenly didn't get a room at the Hard Rock. I was staying on my boy's pull-out couch in Fort Lauderdale, playing for 800,000. I decided, because I'm slightly superstitious. I'm kind of superstitious. I was like, I got to go do the right thing. But he's like, oh, you want to grab some food real quick? It's like 12:30 in the morning. We got food. Now it's 2. Now I get back home at 2:45. Now I can't sleep. Now it's 4:30 in the morning. I finally get to bed. I wake up at 10. It's 5.5 hours of sleep. And we have to start at 12. I'm exhausted. I have a cup of coffee. When you get 5 hours of sleep, you're good for the first 6-7 hours. And then come 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, you hit a wall, right? And that's exactly what happened. I was owning that. I was playing so well. I got cooler, and then I cooled somebody else. The kid shoved, I found queens. Somebody opened, he had king queen. I won that hand. I had this huge pot versus Andy Wang, the best tournament player at the table. That when he was out, I was like, all right, it's my game. I had this big pot with him when I made the nuts on the river, and I check raised all in. I knew he had to bluff it off. He bluffed. He lost most of his chips, and he busted 7th. And I was like, here we go. Came back from that huge blow. Kings got cooler versus ace at the final table with the kid Jesse. Came all the way back. Now I'm the chip leader. I bust Jesse. I found kings into his tens. Now I'm chip leader with four-handed. We go on dinner. A bus hits me. I start eating food like an idiot. I come back. We're four-handed. One person bust. I find myself slightly second in chips. I tell Aaron Massey, I go, yo, bro, I can't keep my eyes open. Like, I can't keep my eyes open, but I just feel really bad. I just checked down. I just checked the river with queen high where I'm supposed to be bluffing all day and let queen high win. Like, I had a hand where I queen five, and I raised pre, and I bet the flop, and he called and went check, and I just checked back the river. And he had, like, just queen jack for, like, 2 overs, or he just, like, he wasn't calling the river with queen high. I think I think it might have been, like, I think I might have just checked all 3 streets. It was really bad. But I told myself, because I thought he was check calling or check raising, so I just gave up on the flop. I went with my read, and then the turn he checked. I was like, I should be betting here. And in the river he checked, and I was like, this is too late. And I just tabled queen five or queen five high, and he's like, we're playing for 800K, and this is what you're doing. And there's like another hand like that, and I was like, all right. We took a break, and I was like, yo, I'm out. Like, I'm checked out. So you get your fucking ass out there, Aaron Massey, and you go talk shit to these kids. And he did. He was like, you have 30K in earnings. You have 900. Like, Ronnie Bardah, blah, blah, blah. He's been around. He's a well-known, you guys know that. Like, and they were like, yeah, but, he was arguing. He got me like 16K over ICM. And we played for 25,000. We're trying to only play for the seat, the 15K seat. We tried to chop up everything. And then WPT wouldn't let us. So we played for the money. I finished third. Maybe I did play a little different when, and the kid who won it was like, went from like timid to like aggro as fuck because he had all this money locked up. He had $900 in earnings. And he was just like, I'm going to just press every hand. He kept three-betting me every hand, and I just didn't have anything. I couldn't continue, and I could start getting short. Then I lost basically a couple all-ins, and I was out. So it was a good deal when it comes down to it. I mean, and I take it as a win. You're like top 3 in that tournament. The kid who took second, I ended up getting more money than him too. So the kid who won got like 40, 50K more than us because he won the trophy and the 15K seat and the 25K more. So.
How do you feel about getting like so close to a title though?
It would have been nice to be on that trophy. I tell you what, I'm not just saying this and being like, yeah, I would have played it. I honestly would have played if I felt great and I was ready to play. But when you can lock up $566,000 in these times, in this climate, in this poker world now,
yeah,
like that was my biggest score. But I was guaranteed for third 392. So that's a huge score in itself.
Yeah.
So to be locked up basically 400K and just play for 800 wouldn't be that bad of a decision with the competition. I mean, Eli had no fear. He wasn't, you seasoned pro, but he was all over the place, very hard to read and just like all over the place. And the kid Robel was a 5'10" no limit grinder, and he was used to playing deep, and he made some good plays. So like people are always like, yeah, there were nobodies doing it. I'm like, dude, stop it. First of all, it's just poker. Second of all, like we're free-handed. There's so much variance. And like, I locked up an extra 170-something thousand in my pocket. I got way better than second place money. Not way better, but second was 502. We all ended up getting more than second place money. Everyone was happy. And like, I'm no big shot. Like, it's $500,000.
Yeah.
It's like going to change my life. It's going to, now I can buy my own self a house. I can do more things with the money. I have more freedom. I don't have to go to the Bellagio 4 days a week and sit there and grind 40-80 on my leather ass. You know what I mean? Like stuck 1600. I'm sick though. I'm sick. I played a Venetian tournament a week later. I went to Venetian a week later. I won a ride the tournament wave. $1,600 buy-in, bagged a nice stack, got in the money, took a serious beat, like took a really bad one, and started screaming at the guy. Like, it was bad. Yeah. It's not like me, but I was just like so passionate and motivated to make another final table, go back to back, in like 2 big events. Thank God there was nobody in the room. Everybody was on break. It was just me and him. Everybody leaves, and we're just playing this big pot. And he just played his hand as bad as possible, and he's like, we got all the money in the turn, and he just has some kind of draw. He bet called it off, and I was like, what? And he just gets there. It was like really quick, and I was like, God damn it! Like, what are you doing? And I screamed at him. I walked away. Then I realized how much of a clown I looked like. I turned around. I went up to him. I was like, hey, man, I'm really sorry. I'm just really passionate about this game. I wanted to win, and I wish you good luck. And he just looked at me like I was fucking nuts. He's like, you're crazy. And I was like, yeah, I know. And good luck. I just walked away.
Oh, shout out. I think we hit 10 earlier. What's up, Damon Santor? And I don't know. Everyone else is mute. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's like I don't know if you know, like I hate MTT. So I started streaming MTTs like three months ago. November, December. Yeah, I've been streaming for a little bit over 3 months now, and it's about as miserable as I could think. But I'm putting it on video. It's one avenue I haven't explored. Like I'm not as I thought I'd be like fishier than I was, but I'm final tabling at a high rate, and as there's a lot of pain. Like you just a lot of luck, a lot of luck, a lot of pain.
There's a lot of pain, especially those online MPTs. They're 6 to 10-hour tournaments. Like some of them take 2 days, but that's very rare. That's like a big event where they pause the tourney, and there's just like you're just winning. You can just win. A substantial amount of money comparable to your buy-in in 12, 11 hours or something like that, and it goes quick. And it's just there's so much variance in online poker, and it's like you have to put so much volume in online poker as well. Where in like with live, you just play when you feel like it. There's good value, you see it, you feel good, you play. And a lot of people don't like. I have to tell myself like you decided to play when I'm playing a live event and I'm like over it like 5 hours in. It's like you already wasted 5 hours of your day. You're still in this tournament. Wake up! Like you're gonna be here. You allocated 2 days of your life or 3 days or 4 days of your life in this tournament. Don't take 2 days and just like make a huge mistake and then get mad at yourself. That's like it's a continuous cycle in live tournaments. You're like, why did I do that? That's not my style. Why did I make that play? Did I get bored? Are you meant for this game? You keep questioning your role, and like, should you be playing tournament poker? Then I played the MSPT last week at 1100 all about. I was miserable. I put 2 bullets in it. Like I didn't play well. I made some questionable all-ins on the river. I just bluffed my stack off in this one spot to this guy. I just hated his face, and I was just like, like what are you doing? So I just said, I'm back. I'm back on the cash grind, baby. I'm not playing another tournament until like there's a Venetian 5K. It's like a month from now. I'll play that. I'll try to win my seed into that, and I'll wait for the World Series if it happens. But I'm just cash game, cash game grinder, man. I'm gonna take, like I told you earlier in this interview, that I wish I took more shots. I'm coming out to LA and I'm gonna jump in these 200. I'm gonna play some 200, 400 limit hold'em. Okay. Obviously, if I see the right game, I know the crowd. I gotta make sure there's no Malachi crunch going on, and I gotta also make sure there's the right people in the game and the game won't break, or what's private, what's the politics, what's going on. But I think I'm coming to LA this week. I think I might go out there and play a little at the bike, some 60. Go to the beach, hang out with some friends.
They have 1-2 running. Yeah.
Huh?
They have 1 or 200 running as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
Yeah.
Play some 1-2. See if I can make a 20 ball out there, and go visit Cars and Coffee. Go check Cord Garcia and Dan Fleischman and that business. I like that. Obviously I love the sports cards. Go check that out.
I played with Cord a couple weeks ago. I knew who he was. I just I see so many people, I forget people's names. So then he mentioned he was Cord Garcia. I'm like, of course I know who he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some tournament success. He's been around the poker world for at least 10 years now, and he's a young kid out of Houston. He knows a lot of people. He's networked a long time, and he's just newly into sports cards a couple of years ago, and he's grown such a passion for it. I was just texting him this morning about the market, and he was like, you're a smart person. You've been you should at least have 10, 12 Jordan rookies, and it's dumb that you don't. I'm like, it is dumb, because those things went up so much money, and I knew it. Like I mean, I have so many. I have I can show you all these cards. I have a shitload of cards in front of me right now.
I believe you. A lot of these niche things are just like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Bitcoin. Like if there's a fan base that's just gonna it's on the internet, just like circles up.
Well, China is like responsible for this huge boom in NBA sport and sports cards, basketball sports cards. Like this Jordan is one of my favorite Jordans of all time. It's 88. It's a little glare, so you can't really see it. Can you see it? It's the dunk contest. 88 Flair Jordan. This card, a year ago, in a 9 would sell for $100. Right now, it's like $1,500. In a 10, it's going for like $7,000 or $8,000. Or like a year ago, less than a year ago, it was like $1,000 card. It's like 10x. But it screams 80s. There's not many of them around. This is not graded. I got to get it graded. It's in a grading sleeve. Like, look at this sexy card. Will Chamberlain, 1971
wow.
Chamberlain. Yep, this is this is in a 10. It's like a $5,000, maybe more, like a $10,000 card. In a 10 a year ago was $1,000 card. This card here, I would sell for it's not great. It has a small crease here, so I would give this card away for like $75 to $100 maybe. I would do it for you for $75. I'm not selling cards right now, but I have tons. It's 87 Jordan sticker. I mean, I have so many cards. I have like 100 million cards behind me. But anyways, I love it, man. I love it. I love the industry. It's great.
Yeah, no, when you come out, just hit me up. We'll go get some food. I'll go visit the court.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, maybe at Cards and Coffee. You know, you can go in there and go see Cord and check the business out. You know, those guys are all cool. Take a look at the operations. And
I didn't get an invite back the game we were in.
Oh no, it was a semi-private game.
Yeah, I don't think if I showed up to the door, I don't think they'd be like, "You're not allowed." But I didn't get the text anymore.
Yeah.
We know how it is. No, it's just like why I'm so happy the legal casino sector is open is private games just one by one. It's the doors are shutting.
Yeah, man. It's a tough world to navigate the private world game. But I have a lot more respect for the private games than I used to have.
Me too. Yeah, it's for the people who run it well, and I do definitely have newfound respect for those environments. But just like everyone's got to be careful. I'm gonna have Houston Curtis on. He's gonna show some deck tricks, and should be very careful around these things. Like I only hang around people I really trust, and we have a lot of mutual people. So
for sure.
I mentioned like I think I texted you like one of our mutuals, like he has a game, like obviously he's okay, but the rate is low. But Survivor, you want to talk about that? I know we talked about it last time, but
we talked about it last time. I think I mentioned about my physical condition prior to going on and getting kind of an unfortunate circumstance in terms of timing and what happened. But Survivor, I still love it. I've kind of took some time off. I've watched every season besides 2 seasons, which is Thailand and Africa, season 5 and season 2. And I haven't watched the Outback. I've seen some of the Outback, season 3. I need to go back and watch some of those old seasons. But I mean, I love it. I would love to have a chance to play it again. I would go out there, even now, even knowing that they all know I'm as a poker player. They'll try to use anything against you to vote you out, but I don't think they would. I think I'll be able to be able to form some good alliances and bond easily on the island and be able to just put that behind us. Like nobody cares after you introduce and tell me nobody cares. They care about who you are. But they could lobby and just use that as an excuse that like he's a poker player. He's just gonna stab us. Anything to take the heat off of them, like you're a lawyer, dude. You're a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
You're a fucking lawyer. I mean, you're a car salesman. Like you're a car salesman. Like
this stereotypes, but like, I think the poker industry as a whole, and I think I've been working on this too. Whatever the old reputation was, I'm not gonna like be one of those guys to be like, oh, you got to respect the poker industry, or you got to play limit hold'em, you got to play this game. I'll play as many games as you can, so you see different points of view. But like legitimizing an industry like takes a lot of work, and hopefully, Live at the Bike and other like the WPT, the World Series, and other things are helping legitimize it with like their operation. The commentators, the players, and the media portrayal. So that's something where they ripped on you for being a poker player, and you're like, dude, you're a car salesman, you're a lawyer, and just like, at some juncture, hopefully poker players like start hybriding, and I encourage you to do this, and you're already well on your way, which is like you have other stuff going on aside from making money from poker, and that kind of helps legitimize.
Yeah, I was just using random like jobs. So like, who cares what you do? It's about who you are. Obviously there's a higher percentage in different different occupations in terms of being scummy. But there's scumbags and everywhere. There's scumbags in the church. Like in this, and there's bad people from from the holiest place. Yeah.
It's like supposedly a lot of the most wholesome jobs. There's like definitely
there's tons of predators everywhere. There's tons of bad people everywhere. It's just sometimes people just will like, oh, you see gambling, nothing good can come out of that, and we're just like, we don't really gamble. We play poker, and it's just like
it's not even that. Just like everything in life's like a gamble. Like there's nothing that's like a real sure thing now. there's stuff that's a higher chance, but
as everybody knows, look at Bitcoin. I mean, Elon just put 1.5. He put $1.5 billion in Bitcoin this morning. The price went to the roof, and all these altcoins. Friends are hitting me up saying they can invest in this. People that never even buy Bitcoin. It's like, or any coins. I mean, I'm going to do this. I'm doing that. And it's ridiculous. There's like nothing guaranteed anymore. We don't know what direction the world's going, what currency we're going to be using in 10 years. It's like, I mean, we're going to be using, I think the dollar's not going anywhere, obviously, but
sure. It's just, devaluing, but, one thing about the dollars, you could spend it. If you bring it to 7-Eleven, they'll take $1.
Yeah. The Bitcoin's hard. Bitcoin, even for me, who's been dealing with it for 4 years now, like, I have my ledger and I have like money on different exchanges, and I still get confused. Like I get scared. Like just putting plug my wallet in, you have to send all this long code to people, and it's not like I think I'm the vast majority out there. I'm not that computer savvy. Like I don't want to deal with all these codes. I like getting money, putting it in the bank, getting my money, and having cash and using my credit card. It's easy.
Yeah, we're getting old. Like I have to like double and triple check and quadruple check things, and even then I still get things wrong. So
you're like XYZ, capital X.
Yeah.
You look at you're like, all right, that matches. You get so nervous, you send like 5,000 in Bitcoin to somebody. You're like, send. Like, did you get it? Is it there yet? Tell me it's there. It's just crazy. So.
All right, the Miss Finland redemption. So.
Yeah, a lot of people texting me, and tweeting at me mostly, like, oh, you can finally put Miss Finland behind you. You can finally move on from that. You're free, like you don't have to live with that shame. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, I mean, it was definitely a funny hand, but like, I always had that ongoing joke, like since that happened, I haven't done anything, or my career ended, or I'm just a dust ball now, and my kind of been on the down. I've been on the my career. 2010 was like this, going up 11, 12, the bracelet, the final table, the 5 in a row, and then Miss Finland, and it's like, oh, I'm not doing. I'm kind of off the scene. People making fun of me. Oh, Survivor. Oh, first off. Oh, I'm the dust ball. I'm just an old pro. I'm Kanish. Oh, 565,000. So now I chopped the World Poker Tour up. So now I'm back. Man, I've been here. I've been trying my whole life. I'm a grinder. But it's just funny. But yeah, whatever. It's kind of a redemption. Like I don't have to. It's not the last thing that happened to me. So the last 2 things that happened prior to that was Miss Finland and so being voted off first on Survivor. That were kind of in the news about me. Right. So having something positive like this, me winning a lot, me having my biggest score, during these tough times was really a blessing, and I'm very grateful. I'm really, really grateful. So.
Well, we talked about this offline, but we'll have Ronnie Bardah on Ladies Night on Life at the Bike.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm going to try to get in touch with Sarah, and see if she's in LA all the time. We can get her on the show and have a revenge. It's going to be like, it'll be 7 years this summer, and have her there with 5 other of your strongest LA Mamacita. Bring them all. Bring Katie Cole as well. She can get her in the game. I'm sure she'll play.
Yeah, she'll definitely play.
Me and her are cool. We're friends, and I've known her for years. She'll definitely show up to play with me and play with everybody else. She's going to be licking her chops to get in that game, and she definitely want to play with me.
She wants to battle like everybody. I mean, she's always like, let's play, and then sometimes she's like, no, but like for the most part, she just wants to battle.
She wants to battle, and we'll have a sick lineup. I don't know. We'll see how I fare against 6 other women at the table of 7. Where it was 8-handed. Or, we said we're going to do it when COVID's over. So we got having masks and that kind of like.
Yeah, no.
You want to see the reaction when I get. Yeah, when everybody gets owned and people are yelling at each other, it'll be
especially
great.
You. We definitely want to see your reaction because like.
Yeah, and also the masks. Going back to the tournament, like masks have been helping me. Like I give a lot of reads on my, not so much in my eyes. Like some people look at people's eyes. Me, it's all in my jaw, my lips, my nose. Like I give a lot of tells off in my face. So, having the mask, over my face, I feel very comfortable like this playing, and just staring people down in my eyes. But then the bottom half of my face is like soft, and I just make all these weird like quivers in my neck. People I think I just gave a lot off in here. If that's weird, I know it sounds weird. Like, oh, you have chin tells, you have nose and lip tells. But yeah, my mouth does certain things, and I don't know. I think it has a big part of like overall tell box. It's like 85% tell box right here, and this is like I can my eyes are fine.
That's why you
I'm not
prefer to
gonna
limit
go like,
hold'em.
yeah, for now.
Dude, there's so many tells in all forms in poker. It's
There
really
is.
underrated. Yeah. And it's
It's
funny.
really, yeah. People are just like, oh, you can limit. You just kept getting 20-1. I call so dumb. It's like, bro, shut up. You don't play limit. You don't know what's going on.
I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty ambivalent to all forms. I just don't like the no limit community. Like, it's just there's a lot more anxiety and toxicity, especially the higher stakes. They haven't played that in a while.
No, 1,000%. And you got kids like, you know, Ryan Reese was like plays a limit hold'em tournament during the series. Is like, I hate limit. Oh, I did GG limit hold'em. He's like, limit hold'em is such a bad game. It's like, oh, you play it once a year and you're just gonna come at limit hold'em. You know, it's sorry you don't like it, but I love it.
This is what happens. Like when you first play a new game, and this happens all the time in the mixed games. Like when I first played Archie, I'm just like, what the frick is this? And then you learn more about it. And you're like, oh, this is interesting. But like we've been through so many poker forums. It's like a curve. It's like, you know, you don't like it, then you start liking it, and then you realize, oh my god, this game's really deep, and then you just like get kind of depressed about it, and then you actually learn something, and you just like, you know, hike back up. There's like the pattern for like all poker forums. So
besides no limit, I guess when you said you're like, holy shit, this guy's all in. Like I can go all in. That's like what people love. They just like to put all the chips at risk and just be like all in.
I think what makes No Limit fun to watch makes it rough to play, because like when you watch it, you see all the emotions and the tension, and you're just watching it, you're not participating. And when it's on you, and like now that I do with the bike, I'm like, I notice so many. First, I noticed it myself. Like when I saw myself on my camera, I'm like, oh shit, that's not good to show that. Yeah. So I've been working on, you know, some stuff, but what I realized too is, until you see yourself on camera, and I'm sure this happened to you too when you saw yourself on camera, you don't know you're doing things, but at the same time, other people don't know either. You have to watch yourself on camera because only you know what you're thinking. There's a lot of like tells, but there's also things that like aren't really tells. They're misinterpreted, so.
Yeah. It's easier to see when you're outside watching yourself or watching other players play. Like, how do you not call, man? It's like it's so easy to see he's bluffing. Like,
you can see
but
the cards,
you know, it's like being in a bad relationship, for years with a girl or a guy, and you know, friends are telling you, and you don't see everything. You know, people are like, yo, this is bad for you, man. You got to get out of this. Like, you know, and then when you're out of it and you look back at everything, you're like, how the hell did I do that? Why did I do that? Why was I in that? Why did I subject myself to that? There's so many parallels in terms of like, you know, in chess, in stock, and this, like everything, any aspect of life. So when you're involved in something, it's really hard to have a clear, you know. So that's the best players in the world are the ones who, like, in the moment, can put all that aside and just see everything clearly. And I think there's a percentage of how, you know, it's that I think that's one of my greatest strengths is as a poker, because I'm not technical at all. I'm a gut player and I just go by that. So yeah, like, you know, you watch somebody play, you're like, oh, I hope he calls here. This guy's bluffing so much, and the guy doesn't call, and the guy just tables a bluff, and you're like, oh, you should have called. So, but it's hard, man. When you're in the middle of a hand, it's really hard.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to get those reads, those sharp reads, and just go with it. Go with your first instinct is my advice. You know,
poker world advice.
Yeah, just go with your first instinct. It's like whatever you feel. Don't let other things sway you later on in the hand. Things change, you know. Guy could be bluffing on the flop, and then turn he's still bluffing, and something changed on the river. You just backdoored something, and you're gonna be up like, what? This doesn't make sense. And then you see the hand, you call, and you're like, oh, you know, you just went crazy with sixes and hit a six on the river, and you're calling down a middle pair, and then on the river he bets and something changes. You're like, that's different. That is different. Like now something else is going on. Like what just happened? Like what? Like, okay. And you feel good about losing in that spot. You're like, all right, I should have been, it was too bad. Like, then you think like you might be, because of the bet on the river, your gut, you know, but you're like, I know you were bluffing. I knew you were bluffing at two different, like, in this hand you're bluffing. Are you still bluffing? Did you just backdoor something? And then you knock yourself for not raising a street, but then you're like, no, you're being results oriented. You're going to bluff it all off. He's trying to give you money. You got lucky. Poker's fun.
Life advice?
Life advice. Follow your heart.
What if you don't have one?
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I would say follow your heart, and you know, I don't want to sound too cliche, but just do what you want to do. You know, take care of yourself. I would say if I could go back, I would stop worrying about everyone else in my immediate family. It's okay to worry. It's okay to care about your family and your and people in your family and close friends, but like put yourself first, because if you're not happy, you're not going to make any. It's tough to make other people happy. Like you got to be happy. Your happiness is first. If you have children, obviously theirs is first. You know, like if you have children, they're little kids, like kids who are dependent on you. Obviously, they come first. But if you're just taking care of yourself, like take care of yourself, take care of your health. And because if you're a poker player, the drugs and the alcohol is no good, man. Just fuck it all. In your 20s, stop trying to impress everybody by tables, and you enjoy it, but you're gonna look back at it and be like, it's okay to party once in a while, but 4 days a week. I'm talking to my own self now. I'm looking back at my 25-year-old self. I'm like,
that's what
you needed a table. Yeah. You needed a table 4 days a week. On the best days to play poker as well, on Saturdays and Fridays, like at night when you could have pulled on those days away and played. And it's just like a reverse. Like you're spending money on a day you could be playing, and so you're losing money in both aspects. So it's like, you know.
Sure.
So.
I couldn't agree more. A lot of the bad habits are, you know, some life mistakes. I feel like they were inevitable, so I had to, you know, they had to happen to me. But
yeah, you got to live and learn. You try to give people shortcuts, you know, like, dude, take this life hack, man. And like, I'm telling you, this shit ain't worth it. It's like you know, and it's like the people who the kids or young people that make big deals out of such little things in your 30s. You're like, this is nothing. Life is not over. Shut up. Like, get over it. And you just got to be fair to that person. To them, it's the world, and let them process it. Let them learn. Let them go through it. But you just want to smack them up. Be like, yo, just move on. Like, who cares? That, you know, like, it ain't that big a deal. Like, you're gonna be fine.
To move on.
It's hard.
We still got, I don't know. We still got hopefully a lot of decades and
hopefully.
Touching
base. Yeah, a lot of time. I'm probably moving out to LA. I don't know. I might be living there in 2 months. Okay. I got to make a decision of where I'm going, because, you know, I thought about, like, because the World Series is maybe coming up. But it's always like that. Like, I got to leave. I'm staying with John Aguilar. I'm in his house now. I mean, this is my room here is pretty nice. It's like a big semi-little house, and I'm here till April. I could leave in March. I could leave whenever, you know, but I have to be out of here most likely by May. So it's either sign a lease in LA for a year or get something furnished at like Pano or Martin for 6 months. Because if the World Series happens, like, I can sign a lease from April to August and then go to LA in August. Be a good time to go to LA. But I want to be in LA. I'm tired. I want to try. I want to give myself a year out there.
We talked about this.
Yeah, I've been trying to move out there for 4 or 5 years now. You know, it's been since 2015 I wanted to come out. So
it's nice. It's fun, but it's fast and there's a lot of pressure. Like, I was just down in San Diego like many times in the last couple months, and I always wonder, like, why didn't I just stay here in San Diego? But you know how it is. We need the competition. We need to run our heads.
Yeah, you can't. It's why aren't the LA games all in San Diego? You know, it would be great if everything in LA just transferred to San Diego. Like, you're gonna be in OB, you can be in La Mesa, you can be in fucking Oceanside. Like, this is the area I want to live in. This like, we're gonna move all the stuff down here. Life would be so much better. San Diego's amazing. Yeah. But it wouldn't make sense though, you know, because you got all the bustle and hustle and the craziness in LA, and that's the poker games that come with it. You know, it's like why like, you know, let's even go further. Let's take all this stuff and put it in like Thailand or something. You know, let's all go to Thailand and hang out there and play poker. So
I question a lot of my decisions, but you know, it is what it is.
You can't live with regret, Wayne.
No, I like most of my runouts I'm fairly, you know, good with, but yeah, I mean, again, thank you for your time. When you come to LA, let's go grab a bite and, you know, let's plan out ladies' night with Ronnie Bardah.
The ladies' night is going to be fun. I'm hoping the ladies will be excited to try to torture me. You know, I hope it's. I think if we get Sarah on the show, we'll get a big viewing. Yeah. It'll be a lot of people reviewing it, and it's like a negative. It's like I beat her and I do well, and I make some money. Everybody's like, oh, you should be, because like you're a pro in this game. You've been around the longest. So it's almost like a negative free roll for me. It's like I'm just going to either get embarrassed again or make a little money. And I'm okay with it. It's just one session. I hope she does rip my face off and bluff me again, and show me a bluff. So, like I said, I'll get in contact with her. Obviously, we have a lot of time. Who knows what's going to be going on with COVID and masks.
We have no idea when we're going to reopen. I mean, the bike's reopened, but, there's a lot of stuff to do. So
I'm hoping September, October this year. That'll be a good time. We can do it. That'd be really cool. And I know Sarah's here all the time. I don't know I think she's probably back in Finland with everything going on. She might be in LA because I see a lot of pictures she posts, like LA. I don't know if she's like recycling, but I don't know. So, anyways, I'll reach out to her at some point. This podcast was this little session. This was cool. We just kind of like
we could keep doing this. Like I stream MTTs now. I have guests all the time, just like OG people from different industries, and just like we just shoot the shit, and people just watch me, try to find all right.
Maybe like a month or two from now, I'll jump on for half an hour and
sure.
and go over some hands and talk shit.
You don't need to watch. I used to have people just open the table and we talk about the hands, but like whatever. I could play poker and I could talk. Like I just the guests can talk.
No, I'll open that. What is it on? Is it on?
It's like global poker. Global.
Oh, global. If I can download the software and view it.
No, it's just web. It's on the web.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's easy. I could do what you do easy. Hey, can you drop like some beatbox before we go?
It's not gonna sound as good.
Right. Okay. What about your favorite Nas lines?
My favorite Nas line.
Made you look.
I know so many.
But rhyme book.
I'm kind of in a mellow attitude. I love the line when he was like, "Did you step in my shoes?" He says like, "You want my shoes? You can." Oh damn! I'm just drawing a blank right now. I'm kind of brain dead this morning. It's in. I think it's in "If I Rule the World." No, it's not. He says like, "Here's my house and my car. You can live in that too." Funny. I don't know. I'm drawing so many blanks, but I love Nas. Next time I have more energy. I'll be with you. I'll beatbox with you in your house, and we'll talk more about Nas. I'm sorry. Just a little tired.
All right. But my last thing is checking out. You're at room 112 where the players dwell.
Get me room 112 for the bike.
I will.
Okay, when I'll try.
I'll try. There is no room 112. 112 is one's the first floor, the bottom floor.
Damn it! Well, give me 212. We'll get a piece of paper and put it over the 2.
Put a 1. All right.
We'll make it a 1.
All right. Ronnie Bardah, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.